Shalom, shalom and welcome. Welcome to White Roads Family by Symmanayah. My name is Symmanayah, and I believe that Yahuah and Yahusha are indeed one. I believe that the 144,000 and great multitude are being disciplined, refined for an emergence that will shock the world. This is the 12th installment of White Roads Family. I want to read the key words you see to the right. Belief, see, focus, hear, listen, time, who, what, why, where, how, and when. My brothers and sisters, these are key words for inquiring, for vetting, for examining ourselves and one another as we press into these final days. In this installment, O set apart family, Yashar'al. You see the background brown because it reminds me, it brings to remembrance to me how in the Feast of Harvest, it is a time when an awakening nation comes together. It is a time when the numbers increase. I am compelled to present to you the topic of growing in numbers. Why speed and urgency can be accomplished by the Spirit of Yahuah, sending Yahusha's name, working within us. It is through his Spirit, working through us, one towards another. It is his Spirit, his set apart Spirit, that open our eyes and ears so that we can hear. Oh, Yashar'al, there is a lot of work to be done. There are many tasks ahead of us. But before I continue, there's a little thing I must do. Let me read this. The information contained on this channel is for individuals who believe they are drawn by the Almighty Creator, Yahuah, to Yahusha Mashyach, as referenced in John 6:44 and John 12:32. The content addresses end-time realities, along with what must and will be done by those who are chosen by the Almighty Father Yahuah in Yahusha's name. End times are here, and there are three things to accept that are promised by the Almighty Creator. They are discipline, vengeance, and wrath. Please be advised, this site is not intended for children under 16 years of age in order to be compliant to relevant terms and conditions on this site. By continuing forward, you agree to hold Symmanayah harmless of any influence in or actions that arise as a result of watching, listening, and reviewing the content presented. The views expressed do not reflect the owners, management, or shareholders of this media platform. My brothers and sisters, end times are here. Seek, ask, understand what it means to discern. As I stated, the topic for this segment is growing in numbers, speed and urgency, spirit, eyes, and ears. Yashar'al, take a moment to ponder on all that you believe is about to happen. Take a moment to ponder on if you believe these things are about to occur, if you believe we are in end times, if you believe that at some point during this generation's lifetime there will be movement. Time will be a critical factor. Proof will be a critical factor. Will we learn how to act before it becomes physically visible? Remember, faith involves things that are unseen, and then proof comes and confirms what we speak that we've received from the Spirit of the Most High. In the name of Yahusha, my brothers and sisters, are we going to wait for proof? And if so, to what magnitude? And if we are waiting for proof, more so than discerning and believing, if we're waiting on evidence, What are the possibilities we may just be caught in congestion? What are the possibilities we might be caught in the wrong place at the wrong time? Are earthquakes coming? Read Matthew's 24th chapter. Read Luke 21. Are we soon to experience widespread famine and pestilence, disease? Will there be meteor showers? Will the fire of the Almighty Father come out the sky and light up the land as tribulation approaches? Or are we in the tribulation? I'm not here to debate that. What merely I want to say is time, proof, and evidence. Each of them have their place. The question that we must begin to pray on is, what are we going to do before and after proof and evidence come? Yashar'al, harvest time. Many of you have probably heard, I want to read something, and many of you probably have heard it, are familiar with it. If not, come visit it with me. Matthew 9, I'm reading at the bottom one first. Matthew 9, 37 and 38 says, Then he said to his taught ones, The harvest truly is great, but the workers are few. Pray then that the master of the harvest would send out workers to his harvest. You see, my brothers and sisters, many people are quick to talk about the harvest and the laborers or the workers are few, but they neglect that it says, pray to the master of the harvest that he would send out workers, to his harvest. Not us jumping the gun and thinking that we're going to bring what's necessary to gather Yashar'al together. Let me also read Leviticus 23rd chapter, verse 22. It says that when you reap the harvest of your land, do not completely reap the corners of your field when you reap. Do not gather any gleaning from your harvest. Leave them for the poor and for the stranger. I am Yahuah, your Almighty One. My brothers and sisters, this is harvest time. Proof and evidence have its place. Notice that in Matthew it talks about what harvest, who it belongs to, and who's sending workers out. Are we acting too quickly because we're so excited that a great awakening is occurring? Are we moving so over anxious that we're stepping into roles that maybe we should not? Soon and very soon, we will discover people have different tasks, different positions that are ordered by the Almighty Father. What's going to be shocking is many of these leaders, many of the mores and teachers that we believe will be the ones that will lead Yashar'al, are too prideful. They will protect their egos. They will protect, quote unquote, their positions as leaders and find themselves taking a great fall. A fraction will yield to reproof and correction. A fraction may in yielding and being renewed by the Spirit of the Almighty Father, by recognizing the blood of the Lamb and accepting correction. A fraction will find out that they're not supposed to be where they thought they were. And I give the example of the body. A hand is a hand. But if somebody is trying to take the hand and make it a thigh, it's not designed to be a thigh. The kidney is not designed to be an ear. The heart is not designed to be a chin. Every position, every member of the set-apart family of Yashar'al is valuable. Each of you, each of us are very important. We will learn how to judge ourselves as the Spirit of Yahusha reflects us to ourselves. We will also learn how to yield to the Spirit of the Most High working in us, through us, one towards another, as iron sharpen iron, we will know what that means. We will come to realize why it says it is impossible to please the Almighty Father without belief. Without belief, it's impossible to please him, as stated in Hebrews 11:6. You see, my brothers and sisters, there are some things we must gird up and begin to do before the evidence come. At least we find ourselves left behind. It is so important, my brothers and sisters, so important for us to realize proof and evidence is unfolding. Let me also bring your attention, my brothers and sisters, why it's important to start getting focused. There are no rewind buttons, but there are instructions for now and going forward, pressing forward, O set apart family. Are you ready? Are you ready to take on the mantle of maturity in worship and in obedience to the Almighty Father? Proverbs 4th chapter, verses 25 through 27. It emphasized the wisdom and letting our eyelids look forward, look straight. You see, my brothers and sisters, we know, we who are a part of the awakening nation know by now that we are Hebrew. We are Abrahym. We know that we have went through many atrocities, have been mistreated. We know as a race of people, Hebrews have been mistreated. We know as a set-apart nation, we have been mistreated. We know as those who have followed and desired to follow the ways of the Almighty Father, who are not Hebrews or Abrahym by race, but are Yashar'al by the oneness made possible by the drawing power of the Almighty Father, who have been mistreated. The time is now, my brothers and sisters, not spend a whole lot of time looking back, because if we're looking back and trying to move forward, we just might run into something that is very painful and regretful. There's a lot of hype about Negroes being Hebrews. Yes, there are some who have been tasked to bring about the truth, but we must know when to now look at what should we be doing now and going forward. Proverbs 4:25 and 27 emphasize the wisdom in looking straight. Are we not familiar with Lot's wife who looked back? You see, my brothers and sisters, it would be like putting salt on the wound if we look back. We may find ourselves weeping too long, distracted too long. We may find ourselves running to the demands of attending funerals of loved ones. My brothers and sisters, search the scriptures. There are times when the Mashyach said, let the dead bury the dead. And one might say, I'm being cold-hearted, or that's mean. There are tasks ahead of us, O Yashar'al. Luke 9:59 through 62. And one of the things, I took a different approach, is I'm not going to read scriptures to you all the time, only a fraction with each forthcoming episode. But I will give you the address where you can examine these passages and see, do they speak on such. Proverbs 4:25 through 27. Look and read for yourself. Does it emphasize the need to look forward, to look straight? Luke 9:59 through 62. Does it talk about someone being unfit for being a participant in the sovereign, or the commonly word kingdom of Yahusha, if we're looking back on the plow? You see, my brothers and sisters, the literal is being confident to plow your field, tend to your field. But if you're spending time constantly looking back to see, oh, so look at that job, look how well I've done. Who's cleaning the plow? What's the next step? You see, constantly looking back is not necessary. We don't need to pat ourselves on the back. Do what the Most High has told us to do. Same when it comes to plowing the field. Plow the field and go get the seeds and plant the seeds. Come back, water the seeds. You see, my brothers and sisters, many leaders, mores, bishops, teachers, Many influential people like to look and say, look what I've done, look what I'm doing, and secretly pat themselves on the back. Some have sister, brother, mother, cousin, friend, patting them on the back. Hey, you've done a great thing. What we've done yesterday, my brothers and sisters, is just that. It occurred yesterday. There's so much more ahead of us. There's a reason why it says, no man looking back at the plow is fit. Because we lose focus on so much work that we must consider that must be done. Visit those passages, my brothers and sisters. Moving right along. Let me read Leviticus. I read this one already. Forgive me, my mistake. My brothers and sisters, the harvest. It is important for us to begin to look at the things we truly say we believe, and then measured against the actions that are occurring. Do we see set apart leadership moving in a way that is truly what we believe is according to the scriptures? Do we see structure coming, or is it always about the moray, the pastor or the bishop? Do we see structure coming, identifying or seeking to identify the talents, the tasks of each and every one of us? Do we see leadership trying to patronize us and say that each of us are going to be a sovereign or a king? Each of us will be the priest. I submit to you, my brothers and sisters, during these end times, as true set-apart harvest becomes clear, and the true workers that the Most High have chosen, begin to emerge, we will understand that leadership, structure, capacity is important. Some individuals can handle teaching, shepherding 5, 10, 20, 30, 100 individuals as the Most High. And some will know how to be as shepherds to 1,000, 10,000, 1,000,000. And I submit to you, my brothers and sisters, with every level of leadership, there are different responsibilities, different tasks. There are times to yield, and there are times to stand firm as the tree planted by the rivers of water, and there are times to act. Capacity, my brothers and sisters. Flexibility. Now you might say, well, what does flexibility have anything to do with it? Do you know that our bodies are vessels of the Spirit of the Almighty Father? In Yahusha's name, our bodies are what some would say temples of the Almighty Father. Our spirit becomes joined with the Father's Spirit by Yahusha Mashyach, by his plan. So if he is in each of us who are his set-apart children, or Yashar'al, then he can speak through any of us at will when he see fit. So flexibility is having the flexibility, although I may be the leader now, having the flexibility to be silent and yield when the high priest Yahusha Mashyach speaks to another. It might be time for us to sit back and yield and allow someone that the Most High have said, rise up and deliver this message, this warning, these instructions. It may be a need to yield going forward. It may be a time to yield for the moment, for the night. Do we have the flexibility to understand? Do we have the wisdom to understand that there are times to humble ourselves and be strong and bring this flesh into subjection? There are times to act. There are times to yield. Who's aware of what it truly means in Galatians about liberty? Galatians 5:13. And it says, let not your liberty be an occasion for sin. You see, my brothers and sisters, the enemy have always wanted us to believe that we got it. There are some things we have. We don't have to worry about anybody else. I got this. We don't have liberty to say, I got liberty. I can do whatever I want to do. Who determines when someone's breath is snatched from them? Who determines whether one lives or dies? It is the Almighty Father Yahuah. Who has the liberty to walk across the face of the earth and through the stars in the sky? Who has the liberty to flow wherever he see fit and he desire? Who has the liberty to do all and be all that he chooses? It is the Almighty Father. So by his Spirit being within him, that's the liberty we have. We have the liberty to listen and obey. Therefore, we may find ourselves in many different places. Some places that the academic religious leaders will say you have no business in that place. We may be the person that carries that candle, that light, into a dark place. We may be that person that steps among the wicked, reflecting and emanating the light of the set-apart Father. So the liberty, I tell you, my brothers and sisters, do not be deceived and think it's your liberty to do whatever you want. The liberty is that the Mashyach Spirit will work in us and guide us. When you look at Ephesians, and even though I have the address up, I want to bring specific attention to Ephesians 5:21. It talks about subjecting yourselves one to another in fear of the Almighty One. See, people will look at that. There are the academics who will say, well, that's book. You need to subject. You need to yield. Some will even go as far as saying, you need to yield because I'm your master. They say that to their wives. They say that to their congregants. They say that to their quote-unquote sheep. I say to you, my brothers and sisters, subjecting ourselves to the master is the master Yahusha. Subjecting ourselves to the master Yahusha is as he works in us, through us, one towards another. So would a husband, as he is led by the Spirit of Yahusha, function as the head naturally? Yes. But do we close ourselves up to listening to our wives? No, not at all, my brothers and sisters. There are many who get it wrong. No one that is set apart of the body of Yashar'al should be restricted to speak. There's a time to speak and a time to be silent. Give you an example. I saw one community, a situation where the wife was being abused and misused by an individual who was part of this community. And this community teaches that the wife should be quiet and be silent and don't talk about the things in their household. Listen to their master. And this wife was being so abused that then her husband left the community, came back, then was kicked out, brought about anger and drama. But then I heard the shepherd of this particular community say that the woman was looking for relatives to help with the children. He didn't rise up as a shepherd and say, though the husband was wicked, we will take care of her. We will take care of her children. No, he said she was trying to find someone to watch her children so she can work, so she can make ends meet and so forth. My brothers and sisters, is that the kind of community leadership you want? And then I heard this leader, literally, I heard him say that he told the woman, why you didn't tell anybody he was doing these things? Why you didn't say something to us? We would have got him out of here. We would have addressed it and necessary, got him out of here a long time ago. But yet they say to the woman, your husband is your master. Conflicting teachings. Now you might say, what does that have to do with harvest? What does that have to do with growing in numbers? If we are growing in numbers and there are the wrong leaders in the wrong position, that do not have the wisdom to handle the conflict, because the flesh will war against the spirit as we come together to unite. I say to you, my brothers and sisters, Ephesians 5:21, subjection is discerning the spirit of Yahusha working in us, through us one towards other. True leadership is a servant to those whom he is leading, as the spirit of Yahusha works through him. Structure, capacity, and flexibility is paramount. O Yashar'al. End times are here, my brothers and sisters. Harvest time is here. And you hear me talk about often, let us learn how to vet. Let us learn how to examine ourselves. We examine ourselves prayerfully by seeking to discern what the Spirit of Yahusha has to say to us, about us, individually and collectively. Let us understand the importance of swiftly yielding to reproof and correction when we know we are wrong. You see, many know they're wrong, but it's like, I'm not telling you. Many think by exercising internal thoughts of how do I hide my flaws? How do I recover from this mistake? They spend too much time and energy debating and arguing or trying to bring up a good excuse. Well, what I meant is this. Well, I shouldn't have done that. My brothers and sisters, end times will prove as discipline comes, we will learn the swiftness of getting under the atoning blood of the Mashyach Yahusha. We will learn the swiftness of the quicker we do that, we can be renewed by the set apart spirit of the Most High and press forward, not looking back, press forward. Oh Yashar'al, pray on these words. Pray on these words. I salute your patience and your tolerance. My brothers and sisters, if you believe I am indeed a servant of the Almighty Father Yahuah, being used by him in the name of Yahusha, if you believe the messages that I present are bringing you to a point where you're beginning to look at the realities of the necessities to discern the task ahead, consider subscribing. I would like to brand this channel. It requires 100 subscribers. 100. And if I get 100 subscribers, I can brand the channel, providing I'm still up after December 10th on this particular platform. I ask, will you help me? By branding it, I can send the link. We can send the link. The links become easier because it would have the white robes family. It would make it easier versus having youtube.com/video/ and some letters and numbers. Help me to brand this channel, my brothers and sisters. Subscribe. Invite others to subscribe. Share. If and only if you believe I am indeed a contributor to the strengthening of a set-apart nation, consider supporting the initiative to build a plan, to execute a plan with a central communication hub, with a location where we can begin to start coming together, where we can begin to start preparing a plan that will bring about linkage, identifying set-apart brothers and sisters in each state with instructions on how to transition, how to migrate from one state to the next, how to transition from one state to the next till you get to that exit point where Yashar'al will indeed gather en masse before crossing the Atlantic Ocean for those on the Western Hemisphere. Support the initiative and watch what your support contributes to as it relates to this final exodus, as it relates to strengthening the body of Yashar'al. And my brothers and sisters, if you don't like the word support, because you don't want to be associated saying I'm actually involved, what about sponsor? Just say I sponsor, for some things look as though it shows promise. Support can be financial. Support can also be by sharing your resources and supplies, by sharing your skill sets, your talents, so that it contribute towards the unifying of an awakening nation. I have established a Cash App. I ask for your support, O Yashar'al. The Cash App is White Rose Family. I ask for your support. And I trust that the Most High will harden hearts and soften hearts, and that support will come. There are other means to financially support what I believe I am led to do. And if you're interested, reach out, my brothers and sisters. Reach out. Yashar'al, so much work to be done. So many tasks ahead of us. The time is now to choose wisely. Choose wisely. Remember, there are no rewind buttons. Growing in numbers, know this. If you believe wholeheartedly that we in the end times, the 144,000, 12,000 of each of the 12 tribes of Yashar'al mentioned in the 7th chapter of Revelation will not be beamed on this planet in an instant. Will not be beamed and just pop up and show up at the flash of a light. The great multitude is not someone that's just going to all of a sudden, boom, we got this great multitude of set apart people and we're all going to be gathered from the four corners of the earth. This will not happen in an instant. There are preparations, there are processes, there are details, there are tasks. And extreme humbling times are coming. Conditions are coming that will weaken those who must pause and stop and begin to listen in the silence to the voice of the Spirit of Yahusha. Begin to discern and see. Begin to increase in belief in knowing that there is a living presence before us. The 144,000 and great multitude will emerge, my brothers and sisters. You may find yourselves in the ranks of the 144,000 in or the great multitude. Now the 144,000 will be Hebrews, Abrahym, by race, by nationality, and set apart. The great multitude will consist of Hebrews who have not been stirred to represent a specific tribe other than Yashar'al. And there will be Gentiles, Goym, other nations, together made one by Yahusha Mashyach. Together, the 144,000 and great multitude will emerge and will begin the journey to the promised land, to that central focal point, true Mount Sinai, which is commonly known as Jabal al-Lawz, situated in the northwest quadrant of Saudi Arabia. Make no mistake, leaders and shepherds will rise. There will be echoes of let my people go from leaders. Soon and very soon, the two witnesses of Revelation will emerge. And by their words, fire, and all that is described in the 11th chapter will begin to let the world know the presence of the Most High is here. And I believe even now there are brothers and sisters that will begin to echo harsh, strong, and severe words that will be followed by fire, literally, not them with a match or a torch, but by their words, a fire will come in a phenomenal way, making things known that the Almighty Father is in control of things. Volcanic activity, volcanoes will erupt, earthquakes will erupt. I believe there are those who will also be endowed with power to talk about famine and pestilence. You see, what's getting ready to occur in the 11th chapter of Revelation, there isn't a verse that says the two witnesses are the only one can do that only thing that the two witnesses can do. There's so much to their witness, to their ministry, O Yashar'al, just as there is so much to the ministry of the body of set apart Yashar'al altogether. An emergence is coming. Out of the promised discipline that you hear me speak of often, we will begin to see those who are increasing in discernment. On that note, my brothers and sisters, I salute your patience, your tolerance, and your pursuit of set apartness. Until next time, my brothers and sisters, I ask that you stay tuned. There is more to come. Continue to press on. My prayer is that we grow in discernment like never before, and we learn how to act with precision, with correctness, that we learn the importance of having the swiftness to quickly yield to reproof and correction when we know we are wrong. That we learn how to ask questions and vet and examine and bring out the hidden things so that we can discern what is right and what is wrong. Harvest time requires true workers sent by the Almighty Father. And they are being refined, and they will work, and it will become crystal clear, O Yashar'al. Until then, stay tuned. Shalom. Shalom, my brothers and sisters.